Let's talk about why 99% of you are probably going to lose all of your money in crypto like me that I had to stomach in 2021 in that last bull run. And then how do you become part of that 1% that make all the money and potentially completely change your whole reality in a very short amount of time?
Back in 2021, I had a good friend called Dean. He was a good gym buddy of mine. And I had this other guy that we called the Asda boy, because guess what? He worked at Asda. Now when the 2021 bull run really started to kick in, we had me, Dean, and Asda boy. We used to meet up at basically our local Costa, or I guess you guys would call it Starbucks in the USA. And we were basically just sitting here every single day before we went to the gym, and it was basically like, what are we buying today, boys? And we were just like, well, we can buy anything. The market just keeps going up. And this was true. And I'm telling you this to prepare you for the bull run in 2025. We basically used to come in here with our cute little laptops, just log on TradingView, and just look like we were doing something. And the truth was we were. We were researching a lot of gaming projects, a lot of coins underneath the ADA ecosystem. I was obviously a big believer in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and HBAR, just like I am for this bull run. And this was just a religious daily habit. And this was kind of how we looked, okay? We were three cool guys coming from basically nothing that put in a bunch of money into cryptocurrency. And by the way, when I mean a bunch of money, we put in everything, probably more than we had, like 100% in. And there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion, if you are early enough and you've paid off all your debts. And honestly, this is how we probably looked, because the truth is, you could literally buy anything in 2021 and everything would go up. And it was honestly a great time to be alive. So you can be this guy, but look like this little retarded guy for this bull run too. Like I promise you, in this bull run, later on this year, everything's going to go up. We're already seeing the start of that start to happen underneath this little dip. And these were the kind of the main plays that we were in back in the day. We were very big on gaming. My Asda boy was really big on ADA, but a lot of us were riding Axie Infinity, the Sandbox, and Decentralized Mana. Gala Games was another one. And we had our big plays like Bitcoin, Ethereum, even a little bit of Solana. And of course, I was very heavy in HBAR. Now, Asda boy, here's a little picture, not of him by the way. He really hit it big with ADA. Now, when I mean big, he hit it fucking big. Because if you look at the peak of 2021, this coin went up to about $3. And he was buying in at 3 cents. And he basically pulled, by the end of this story that I'll get to the meat and potatoes of this, he basically pulled a clean 100x on ADA alone. Basically turning 30k to 3 million on this play. But obviously there was a downfall that is the most important part of this video that we'll get to in a second. Now, he actually quit his job halfway through this bull run. He was looking at Lamborghinis and he was looking at a bigger house from him and his girlfriend. And fair play to him, like he earned it. Like me and my other friend Dean, we weren't really interested in ADA, but he was just all in. We were more interested in the gaming narrative because we were gamers back in the day and we really understood what gaming could do for crypto, if that makes sense. So we faded ADA, but you know, you can't catch them all, I guess you could say. And that's the biggest piece of advice for this video as well. Like some of the coins you're in, you're not going to be able to catch them all, right? It's physically impossible to start having 50 to 100 altcoins, then it gets too spread. So you really have to go under the narratives you like, and that's very, very important. So I would really urge you, before we get into this video, to look at your cryptocurrency you have like now, and just ask yourself, okay, am I spread enough or am I spread too much, okay? Now, in May, for those of you guys that remember the 2021 bull run, we had this massive lesson from the crypto gods, and they taught us a lesson from what was to come as well by the end of the 2021 bull run. And if you remember, kind of May to July time, just on Bitcoin alone, we went from like 63,000 to give or take 30. So we got cut in half. I mean, ADA pretty much got cut in half, if not more, and Ethereum was like down 70%. So this was like a first little lesson for the guys invested in cryptocurrency that did well of 2020, even back of the days just after COVID. That's when most of us got in. And July time, it was brutal. Bitcoin alone got cut in half. Like as the boys, ADA went from $2.60 to $1 in 2 months. And you can only imagine what he was feeling, riding this for 3 cents to $2.60 and then to $1 in 2 months. Now he was still up, but to see 60% of his portfolio go down in 2 months was scary. I was a big player in Ethereum in the last bull run. I got cut more than half with 60% in this in 2 months. And Dean's Axie Infinity, a more speculative play, you can see it went from $10 down to 3.3. And that was over 70% of his basically net worth, because he was kind of all in on Axie Infinity. And then he went under a coin beneath that, which was called Smooth Love Potion, which did super, super well. But in these fucking May to July time, it was difficult. I mean, ADA, you can just see the big drops. Ethereum, you can see, massive drops. But in hindsight, we basically didn't know what we were doing. And that was reality. And that's most of reality in First People's bull run, right? You basically go from this, you can choose any single coin. Now I do think this bull run's a little bit different because we have to be more precise with our altcoins, but most coins, in my opinion, are still just going to have a 2021 bull run, if not better, because bigger institutions, more money are coming in. But we went from this guy, you know, crypto rich on paper, to this guy in 2 months. And I mean, when I was this guy, and I can especially remember the Asda boy, because basically quitting his job and everything, like, he was still up a lot, and so were we. But to just see that amount of money just disappear when we've never had that sort of money before, like, I'm telling you right now, man to man, I was scared. I did not know what the next move was going to be on the chessboard, because you really have three choices at this time. You know, number one, you can sell what profits we still had, because remember, with Asda boy, at an ADA of even $1 price, you know, with the crash, he was still up 30x from the 3 cents level. It's a 30x. So we still had a lot of money in here at this big whoopsie doopsie 60 to 70% crashes, right? So that was option number one. Option number two was buy the dip. That wasn't an option, especially for me, because, you know, I was crypto rich, but I was cash poor. Meaning, when I tell you I put everything in crypto, like, I mean everything. My chips were on the roulette board, and everything was in cryptocurrency. I had no cash left, okay? Or we had number three, do nothing. Now, we chose the third option, and honestly, it felt like the longest 2 months of my life. Constantly watch these prices go down week after week. And basically, we also stopped talking at the little coffee club that we had every single day, because what I've noticed in cryptocurrency, and you've probably felt this recently, from, like, you know, if you look at January time, to kind of just recently, obviously we've had a big pump back up to 96k, but if you look at, like, January time to, like, here, like, everybody was super happy here, but nobody was, like, really talking here, right? Everybody thought this bull market was over. And now that we've started to come back up to almost 100k, it's like everybody's being friends again. I just think it's so funny, just, like, before we really get into this video, or the lesson of this video, which I'm sure you know where this is going, by the way. I just think it's funny how, like, people can just change, okay? Everybody's super excited back here. Even the new guys are just buying, they think it's going to go crazy. We have 3 months of absolute pain and torture of our portfolios just losing hundreds of thousands of dollars again. And nobody's friends anymore, you know? Everybody's writing hate comments on Twitter and YouTube. Like, I see them, bro. I just choose to ignore them nowadays because, again, what can you do? This is a cryptocurrency cycle. We're all here for 2025. If you can't stomach dips in the wave, you don't deserve to enjoy the fruits of your labor. But yeah, we basically stopped speaking for months, going from every single day to meeting up, hitting the gym after that, to watching our cryptocurrency in 2 months get absolutely wrecked. Although we were still up, like, everybody was silent, right? And it stung a lot. So yeah, not only did I lose a lot of my money, I didn't lose because I didn't sell, but I started to lose, you know, a lot of my confidence in cryptocurrency, and, like, started to ask myself, am I really doing this? Should I just get out the game? And, you know, it's great when everybody's your friends, but when shit gets bad, you almost want to lock yourself in the room and speak to no one, especially with millions at stake on your next move. And this was me. Like, I didn't speak to my girlfriend for a long time, didn't really reply to my mum and her dad, because I just had these three options and I didn't know what to do. So I just, by accident, chose number three, to do nothing. Okay, that was good because, as we know, August time, Bitcoin really started to fucking move, right? Sandbox going crazy, Axie Infinity started to go to all-time highs. And I remember checking my Ethereum bag at this time, and I seen it start to move, and by September, it had already doubled. So if you look at Ethereum time, really since July time, it was under the 1.7Ks or 1.8Ks. And then really by September time, it started to push towards 4K. And the crash happened so fast, but the recovery happened almost as fast. And then, as we know, the smaller caps went absolutely crazy. I mean, Sandbox was just pulling multipliers. Axie Infinity was on an absolute tear. And again, this was really the money flow. So as we always teach on this channel, you know, Bitcoin starts to go, Ethereum starts to really go second, although this bull run it's kind of lagging, but it's still really in play. Then your Solanas will go, your XRPs, your HBARs, your Suis now getting into that big market cap. Your Renders start to go, and then obviously you get that meme season. And it's almost funny because that's what's pretty much happened right now. You know, as we've started to have this little uptrend rare from, like, Bitcoin of like 80k to like 96k. I mean, you can just pull up the board and, you know, coin market cap, and you can just see, for example, like your Renders, for example, Bitcoin starts to move, the money flow starts to really go, and you see Render get an absolute wreck to the 270. It's almost doubled. And again, it's just always the case, man. So here's another lesson that I didn't really even mean to teach you or bring to you. Like, when Bitcoin starts to move, man, just start looking at your altcoins. I mean, look at Sui down here. You know, it was got an absolute wreck when Bitcoin was hitting those 70k levels at under $2. It's almost doubled again. So a big lesson you can take is just understanding this. And when Bitcoin really starts to go, your altcoins are going to go crazy. Now, when Bitcoin really starts to go in the opposite way, as in drops, you're going to see absolute cascading across the board. That's where it's tough, and that's where you really need to have cash if you believe in these coins to double up. But anyways, Bitcoin started to go. And then we started meeting again. Almost funny. It's like, what are we buying today? And like, we weren't really buying because we had no cash, but we were still meeting up and just pretending we were doing research. And we were happy again. It was game on. You know, we were confident. And portfolios were hitting new time highs. And most importantly, again, we were house shopping again, especially as the boy. And he was really looking into locking a Lamborghini Huracan. It's like a 2019, 2018 model. It was in green. Had all the options. It was about £260,000 GBP. And he was ready to lock this in on AutoTrader. He was just waiting to know what to sell. Because at this point, yeah, you can maybe pay with crypto to buy some cars, but you need fucking cash. So his portfolio, you know, at this time was like 2.5, nearly 3 million with just his ADA bag. But he had a big problem. To spend the money and buy the house and buy the Lambo, he had to sell the assets. But he was greedy, and so was I, because he was like, well, if I sell now, I'm at 3 million. I've already done 100x. Imagine if I just do a 3x. That's 9 million, 10 million, okay? So you already done, and this is what can really fucking catch you, and really the most important part, and really why I say this is the most important video of the fucking crypto world, is basically in the simplest way, when you start to feel so greedy and you think you're so smart, okay? And this will be you in this bull run, and I'm very excited for you, okay? I'm really excited for you to feel that feeling. But when you're looking at houses and AutoTrader and looking for Lambos, shave some profits, okay? Shave some profits, because he can't spend the money, okay? ADA's not very good, okay? You need to get the USD. Now, we did actually have a profit-taking strategy. The problem was it was when Bitcoin hit $100,000 and Ethereum $10,000. And if you remember in 2021, if you were part of that bull market, that seemed reasonable. Everybody was saying that was going to happen. Michael Saylor, you know, Elon Musk, a lot of YouTubers, even me back in the days, because I was just following everybody else's advice because that's what you do. So we were just planning to take profits at 100K, and you know, with Bitcoin 100K, like that's when you could get altcoins going up an extra 3 to 4 to 5 to 6x, you know, when Bitcoin was 60K. So this was quite reasonable, and this is when this ADA boy was really looking for a 10 million portfolio. Although he said to himself, I'll be happy with turning 30K to $500,000. He achieved that by a 6x, but he still wanted more, and I was the same. You know, I achieved my goal of like 950K. My goal was really $1 million. Didn't quite get it, got very close, but I can almost guarantee you, when I did hit that $1 million, I would have wanted 3, I would have wanted 4, because why not, right? But the problem was, we had no idea about the 4-year cycle, because we spent hours researching coins, the best narratives. Like, we put all our time and effort in looking at coins, and that's great, and you really need to do that. But if we just spent fucking 5 minutes of our time understanding this simple chart of the 4-year cycle and how it was a real thing, we would have all been a lot richer. We would have saved across the board millions and millions of dollars. Because if somebody just presented this to me and just said, hey Jake, hey As the Boy, hey Dean, that was the other guy's name, just study this chart historically with cryptocurrency, Bitcoin's performance, overall market cap, and just look how every 4 years is a crash. Every 4 years a crash. There's a growth accumulation phase and a bubble phase, which is the last point. Every 4 years is a crash. And if we just had this, we would have started to scale out way before this. Now, problem was, we entered the 2022 bear market. And my vulnerable stakes, I'm losing everything. If I can share this piece of advice, okay, for you to make maybe your first 100 grand this bull run to maybe $1 million, maybe even more, whatever your goals and dreams are, please understand to take profits when things are going parabolic later on this run. Because if you don't, you'll be like me and my 2 friends who lost absolutely everything when we had everything, plus the pain of being here for 4 years later to ride the next bull run. Because that's exactly where we are right now. It's 4 pretty much years later, give or take, and we're in the exact same spot, okay? Almost the exact same portfolio. The good thing is we are a little bit earlier than the peak. So my portfolio is give or take 900K at the time of recording, and my goal was worth 3 to 5 million. But once we start getting above the 1.52 million, depending what time of frame it is, compared to this 4-year cycle, I'll be really asking myself to take profits. And I just don't want anybody to be too greedy by thinking Bitcoin's going to magical numbers when it's not, bro. It's not. It'll get there eventually. But your whole goal is to exit this bull run unharmed, because you will be harmed, and a lot of people don't make it, okay? A lot of people give up. The only reason we entered cryptocurrency today is because we seen the money on paper in 2021. We had to learn a lesson, okay? Take my buddies As the Boys $3 million mistake and let that save you 3 million. Take my 950k mistake and let that save you an extra million. Because if I can share you that and be vulnerable and telling you that we are not the smartest people because our monkey minds get in the way, if that can help 1 person, 10 person, 100 people, 1,000 people watching this video right now to save you millions, if not 4 years of your life by fucking up, that's worth it for me. And I promise you, it was painful when the bear market kicked in 2022. I didn't want to speak to anyone. I was embarrassed and ashamed. My mum and dad thought I was super rich, and I was like a month, 2 months before. But I had literally, when I say zero money to my name after this bear market kicked in, like I didn't speak to my girlfriend. I literally moved out the house, didn't speak to anybody, turned my phone off, and lived in like the cheapest hotels in Glasgow. Like, we're talking the dirtiest, cheapest hotels, just because I could not speak to anybody, and I had to look myself in the mirror, and it took me literally 20 to 30 days to really get back, because I didn't know what to do. I had literally no money. I didn't know where to go from this. And you don't want to be this guy, okay, that we all were, and many of you guys were this guy in 2021 and 2022, because you can literally be this guy and change your life this cycle. But if you do not take profits when things are getting frothy and you set unrealistic goals, you have to tap into that and just say, okay, we've done super, super well. We've beat the bull market. Because if you don't, the bear market will chew you up and it will spit you back out, and it'll leave you with less than you started with. But more importantly, 4 years of your life wasted. So the most important bull run video you'll ever watch is take profits, ignore your monkey mind, and be ready for this bull run, because this bull run will kick in so fast. We all love our little shiny altcoins, and that's great. Let's ride them up. Some will hit big, some will hit not as good, and some might go to zero. And that's absolutely fine. But if you've built that diversified portfolio, you're still investing when you can. You've still got cash on for dips, like we had almost at the start of April, 3-4 weeks ago now. Cryptocurrency can be a great vehicle, but if you ignore the monkey mind, you can completely lose it all after you've done everything great by researching the coins, understanding the narratives, DCN. You can completely waste all that with letting one part of your monkey mind. I don't know what it is. It's mostly in men. We just get so greedy. Okay, it happens all the time. It's almost like we're peacocking in crypto. That one thing can completely ruin all the hard work and hours and blood and sweat and tears that you've worked at your job for. And it'll ruin all your gains. That's all I got. Peace and take care. Hopefully you enjoyed.